Welcome back. A brief break, and now a little breakdown as to what's to come. Immortals, Renegades, very intimidating names, but hopefully intimidating play styles as well. That's what I'm looking for tonight. I want to see a big old clash on the bomb sites. I want to see guns and faces, lots of highlight moments, Launders. What are you looking for, or what do you expect to see?
We're looking at kind of a difficult map for the CTs where it does get a little weird sometimes. We were kind of discussing why it is that Cbble is described as one of the maps that's more momentum-based, when momentum is this concept that's hard to statistically explain, even though we all feel like that's the case sometimes. And I think that that comes down to how on CT side, if you have low grenades, it becomes very difficult to win rounds. Long B rushes are extremely strong, right? And even if they're perfectly telegraphed, if you don't have the grenades to stop, if you don't have the Molotovs and the heat grenades, which come secondary to things like flashes and smokes, then you are going to have to deal with like 3 or 4 people coming out on one of the closest choke points to a bomb site of any map, and there's just so many options there. And also it's a choke point where you don't have to look to your left and your right, so that's why it's really good for rushes. When you come out, you're all facing the site. You don't really have to go over who's clearing what. Say, for example, you come up lane on Inferno, and you have to clear pit and the site. So one guy's going to clear pit, but if 2 guys clear the pit and 1 guy is in the site and he kills both of you, well, that's because you didn't talk about it. On Cbble, you don't really have to talk about it.
Something that I kind of have a question mark over with tonight's matchup is going to be the op play. Obviously, we saw SK through this week setting up with the double op setup on that CT side, and then last night we actually saw Hen1 demolishing Fallen on multiple occasions with his AWP. And when I look at Renegades, I just feel as though that Immortals kind of have them painted in when it comes to the op. But then again, Cbble is a map where I think that you can get away with just not playing the sniper and just relying on your 5 rifles instead. Is there anything that kind of comes to your mind when we talk snipers between these 2 teams, on Cbble in particular?
Yeah, I actually agree that you don't necessarily need to have an op, but if your op is, if your man who ops is very comfortable, why not give him that opportunity? So Henny was able to find opportunities at Long B on T side where someone would jump up and try to peek him, either Phelps or Fallen, and end up winning that duel quite often. So if we do have that same kind of aggression from Renegades, expect to have it punished. And on the other side of the map at A, you can have a player play with an op and 1 set of grenades and kind of lock it down by himself, just initially either going for a pick or spotting, and then when he sees somebody dropping a smoke, falling back, and playing that shot, fall off, all the way until he's back on A with a teammate in connector and a friend close by and drop.
One of the things I like about snipers on the CT side of Cobblestone is that you'd like to see the extremities of the map played, right? Like Fallen goes to the long A on this map time to time again, and when he does that, we'll see either this aggressive peeking and trying to, pluck a man to the backside of the T's, or he just sits inside the bomb site and plays it very passively. James was discussing how it's very easy for a sniper on long A to fall back from angle to angle and kind of post up and hold if he feels the confidence, but then at the same time does have that avenue of retreat as well. I think B site's very similar in the sense that you can get those very aggressive peekers who just jump up onto the half wall, but then at the same time we saw Taco taking passive positions over behind the statue, inside of the chicken coop, and I just like to kind of, reflect on the openness of snipers, again, on the extremities, because you don't want that in the middle of the map whatsoever.
So I think that Taco, I don't think there's a round where he even got 3 kills with the op on B. He always got 1 or 2, his aim was really on point, but because he played the statue, when he took a shot, he was always vulnerable from drop. A lot of the times his teammates were kind of letting him down as well. Cold was dying outside drop, and he even died by trying to rotate to drop to help him out once and got punished for it. So there was a lot of opportunities for the op on B, but at the same time, you are kind of stuck at that statue if you decide to play there.
Well, speaking of aggression, JKS is able to catch the headshot to Lucas already, but it's all of the Immortals to just go stampeding into the bomb site. KNG gets into the closet, and there's a CT up close, but his side's wide open. Azza finding the frag, and a 5v3. Even with that bomb near site, it's not going to go in. So Immortals just getting boxed in at this point. Very difficult for them to fight off of this. They're being completely overwhelmed. Renegades, they set their trap and they execute the Immortals.
Yeah, it was no good. There just wasn't the ability to get kills. JKS first bulleting 2 people. Really great USP work, obviously. I imagine we're going to see this soon. This is a nice shot on Bolt, who actually just turned his attention away for just a moment. And follows it up to close out the round here. That last kill in the stable. Jaywalking is our man from Fnatic Academy. It's been a hotbed of talent. Another player I like from that team. Yes, oh man. What do you say about that? He just lined it up, tried to find an awkward timing, baited the jump out.
Still just pummeling the platform with Deagle's bolts. He's only going to take 2 because Azza's up close looking for his 3rd, dropping the bomb in the process. So nice little control here from Azza, but even nicer Deags off bolts. Of course, with the bomb down, the CT is going to start to rotate over, but Hen1 gets his hands on it. And up close, he tries to spray, but that's Azza's 4th now. So single-handedly milking the cash cow and looking for his ace. Steel, just hiding inside of the corner, gets pushed into the open. Definitely spotted that cross, so now they know. The jig is up, the frag is out. It's a matter of time before he goes down. So Renegades able to control this round despite going down into a 3v5.
The spacing was actually kind of bad as they came out of long B. When they had Bolts leading, he's kind of allowed to go and look for more kills because he has the deagle, and we're going to take a look at those 2 really nice shots one more time. This one is just, wow, sets it up, perfect crosshair placement through the smoke. I mean, really, really cool stuff. But even as he comes out, he's got 2 teammates behind him, and we saw that Azza actually was able to allow his recoil to reset, which is a bad sign for Renegades, or a bad sign for Immortals, excuse me, because ideally they could have traded him out and then been 4v3 or 4v2, excuse me. Much more ideal situation.
Nifty, not giving them any space to work with. An immediate flank through Museum, finds 2 quick kills, and the rest of the Renegades trying to force this fight. Frag goes out, but not really damaging Henny, hoping that the CTs walk in, but of course he only has that Glock, so the least deadly of these 3 Immortals.
Just a small point, you see Jaywalking's position there where he's like crouched on the broken wall trying not to expose his body. If someone's on the other side of the end of the tunnel, they can see his body and he can't see them. So that's why we see this kind of happen where teams are sending someone across, boosting them up, and playing on both sides of long B, because otherwise it becomes too easy. Oh, actually crossing the site here. Doesn't look like the bomb's going to go down. That was a pretty good flash to stop Bolts from moving. JKS finishes him off the last bit of damage. But yeah. In situations like that, in Ivy, we have people being run boosted across Ivy so that they can be on both sides. And people wonder why they do that. Well, one reason is so that they can bank nades, and the other is that if someone's picking from the right side, they can spot the left. They can't see him on the right. It'll have to flick if he decides to peek into their angle, and it just makes you a little bit more unsure. And the shot a little bit harder.
This is what we all wanted. Gun rounds here for the Immortals. Not opting for the op, but instead just holding on to the AKs. It's going to be the 4 players for Renegades setting up towards that B site where Immortals do show presence, spamming the smoke as Bolts just hopes to find another headshot through it.
A lot of money being spent at long B right now. The 2 mollies coming out. Bolts is actually starting to get aggressive. Nifty catches him through what looks like the corner of the smoke. I'm not sure if he was visible. Yeah, we can see the arm of his model coming out from under the smoke.
Right now there's a play being made in drop down. That's the counter boost from Azza. He does peek high and finds Steel in the open. Could actually re-engage, and he does, dropping the bomb this time around. Excellently done by Renegades. An aggressive play from the CT side. It's not always something you see, but that one works out superbly. Look at this. 1v5, KNG, all that's remaining at this point. Near clean conversion from Renegades, obviously using their grenades and spending some of that money, but as far as frags are concerned, they're good to go.
It's really cool that it didn't drop off as soon as he got that initial kill. Decided to peek up one more time, and I think after that maybe would have fallen. But capitalized really hard on that play. KNG with 20 seconds remaining is not even in a really good spot to save. He could easily get pushed, and this could be a death after round, which would be more than a tragedy for Immortals' overall money. Oh boy.
Ooh, actually finds another, so making this a little costly, but even worse for him. No money made at the end of that one, so 4-0 for Renegades, $750 on he himself.
It was such a strange decision to try to save there. At long B, like the first place people would push. Could have fallen back to spawn, would have had to look for a fight, but at least he knows that he gets that fight with like 20 seconds left and can either die then or change his position. If he knew he was going to get one kill and die, he would have never stayed there. No doubt about it. Looks like all the terrorists are going to be setting up towards B. We have one smoke in Henny's hands and a flash in Lucas. I think the initial smoke is to bait out as much utility as possible so that when they execute, they don't have to run through fire.
Yeah, we did watch Renegades liberally apply it in response last round, so smart idea. Just trying to create a wider window of opportunity. Flashbang into the drop down does blind Azza, although he hears Steel pushing in and shuts him out. Instead of getting too aggressive, it's actually Immortals to smoke this off, but there's a gap to play with. Nifty up close with an op, finds the head of Lucas. That was a nice shot, especially seeing as that's what Immortals wanted. You saw them pre-aiming the windowsill. Stillo gets flashed into long. The entirety of Immortals are blind, but still able to grab one kill is Henny. The CTs overwhelm him though, and that is the 5-0.
I wonder if they're actually trying to execute in that situation or if they just want us to do damage, but after taking their time, failing to get drop control, Nifty cleaning up the second man as well. Top drop, nice flick. Probably look even better at 1x speed. They just took their time. Renegades pushed them. Full buy up, round 6. Henny, oh, looking to lower A, finds Nifty's arm, but can't shoot it.
Nifty has the gall to stick around here. Doesn't fall out, but rather wants to hunt. Does spot the T on the cross. The T who now holds next to Rocks, but it's GKS over on long. He's gonna get flashed out, so deploys a smoke in order to cover his exit. Gives the warning sign to Nifty, who then falls further back. And they're actually gonna double down here, but JKS is smoked off. Pinned inside this.
Even though his smoke ran out, and they threw one. Oh wow, he's actually getting flashed in for the kill. Will he get a second one? No. Good attempt though. I like that play.
Playing safe in the sense that they fell off the initial op pick, but then that team play is what they utilize instead, so I agree, very nice. Leaving Immortals into the 4 versus 4 and running out of utility. Not a single smoke left for executions. Will have Molotovs if they decide to execute A. You can always use that to burn out the door and the balcony. Buys you some time as you attempt to cross, but doesn't give you cover. In fact, there's no smoke grenades left on either side. Henny reading into the position of Nifty, and Azza flashes himself in. Goes for the spray, but gets dropped out. Bolts in a response, and Ustillo now peeks wide. Netting him a 3v2. Both CTs still inside connector, though. Ustillo with another headshot, but Bolts is able to trade it back, and this leaves the new gun in a 1 versus 2. Frag to give him some dirt cover, sprays wildly towards the stables, and Steel takes his head, so the Immortals are on the board.
Wow, that pick from Henny, unbelievable. Literally, Nifty is holding that specific angle, and Henny comes out with just such a small chance of actually lining this up properly. And he's so quick, wow. I wouldn't be surprised if Nifty was just caught sleeping there for a second, but didn't expect that shot to ring out so quickly. Unbelievable stuff. No way Immortal should have won that round. And I like the attempt in the 1v2 from Jaywalkings, obviously. Good kills from Ustillo as well to make it as competitive as it became. But, oh, Lucas actually takes Ustillo out right at the beginning of the round, and they're executing off the back of this.
Here they come, 2 kills already. Renegades are nowhere to be found in this round, just immediately fall, and so these last 2 players definitely have to save. Saw so many resets on last night's broadcast, but Renegades are not going to do so to the Immortals. This is a good chance for them now to restabilize on the T side.
there's always the question of why go A if B is so much weaker, if long B is so overpowered as everyone says. And it's the only problem with it is when people start playing 2 drop and 2 long B. And the other problem is when they have too many nades. And in this situation, that was a good opportunity to hit long B, especially after getting that first kill, which probably caused or was a catalyst for Immortals pushing that quickly. But it seemed like they were posturing for it anyways. And KNG, oh, he's actually going to have 1 kill, maybe 2 here. Oh, wow, he does get both of them. Renegade saved nothing. That's
huge. Really nice lurk by him. Gets ahead and hits the timing perfectly. You can see those CTs never expecting someone to walk up those stairs. I mean, I can't remember the last time I see somebody clear that out from that very same position, so...
I think the peak there makes some sense because they thought that it was going to be some long B pressure. They wanted to get in the face of it. And they don't have a lot of nades to deal with the execute. So for all those reasons, stopping the execution before it happens or making it a 4v4 when they plan for a 5v5 is always good. But that was kind of the beginning and the end of the round for Renegades.
And he has gotten pushed up. Played counter flash early on. Molotov not going to reveal anyone, but he gets out into the open. It's only pistols, but they certainly still hurt. Steel, as the distraction set, takes one to the head. Azza finding a frag in the meantime as JKS cleans up the next. That's now the 3v3. And the double AKs in the hands of Renegades. Bolts to the platform, though. He's just going to slow things down. Gets tagged up, sits on 6, and Nifty clears him out. We're talking a man advantage here to the CT side. And Henny's already tagged up from earlier on. This would be one of those freebie rounds for the Renegades. The ones that you hope to win, but never actually expect to. Game of centimeters. KNG starts to creep around this rock, but there are 2 CTs here. Spots the first, they can play the trade. He sprays, but gets taken down. Henny, 30 seconds left. Throws away his op, goes to the Glock and swaps back. So the spray even not working out, and Nifty on the USP.
No, he actually gets the kill with the USP. He dodged so many bullets sitting in that corner of Chicken Coop, and Henny knew exactly where he was. Like, even with that op shot, just went right above his head. It was so close. It's crazy that he was able to get that first kill, though, with the USP, those 2 headshots. And somehow Renegades pull back a full eco. I think I found it weird that Immortals decided to go back to B when the bomb was on the way back to A, and they know that Renegades have to go and pick up those 2 guns that are somewhere in the site, meaning their A players would have to come over here and grab them. Otherwise, they just have A players who have pistols. And I'm not sure they were cognizant of that. Otherwise, they probably would have capitalized, but, you know, they kind of made their bed by trying to re-aggress just right away. KNG going for the boost. Very popular to try to kill somebody who peeks the stairs, even if they're opping. It's an easier shot for you to hit. We won't have any enemies right now.
Very patient setup from the Renegades. Steel trying to pry into the drop down, but very few teams so far this week have really put players inside of drop. They are more than content to just give it up and play in response to that.
Yeah, teams are starting to get really good at drop control, perfect nades, the mollies to make sure there's nowhere to stand. Playing right under drop, it's just a nade pit. And so teams have started to play on E-box or just outside of drop more regularly. Whoa, okay, bolts. Wow, that would have been really amazing spray control for him to get those 2, but they get both regardless.
They're able to flood into the site before the CTs get here. Azza, he connects his spray down, finding 2, flicking for a 3rd, but it's not meant to be. It's Ustillo 1v3, and he's already found the first. KNG, though, to the backside, he gets hurt, and oh, the no-scope. Dirty.
Damn. I think there might have been
a little quick one.
Yeah, a little quickie.
It's definitely what that was. That would have been wild.
Yeah, that would have been wild. Well, what's even better, having a teammate right behind you. Good attempt by Azza. And I don't even know why KNG runs in that situation, because if he just continued walking, there would have been no opportunity for whoever that was, Ustillo, to turn around.
Yeah.
But he delivers on the shot, so what can you say?
CT's overwhelmed Lucas. He's able to take down 2. That bomb's just going to get expressed into the B site. Steel sent to watch the back. Of course, playing with that MAC-10. Renegades actually go all the way through T-spawn, so they could still get behind this. This is one of those little weird situations where Renegades have been afforded some opportunity because the bomb's alone on B. The terrorists have gone to clear out everywhere else.
Yeah.
Now Steel's going to realize that players have passed him, but he is still pinched, so that's a crucial kill to Ustillo.
Yeah, they got really far away from the bomb. That's never a responsible decision, I want to say, but it looks like nothing's going to come of it. Renegades are going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that they're playing more people in the site. There's no way they can get away with some kind of crazy defuse or anything like that. Good thing they're not playing CLG. Ricky would have been sitting flowers with a Zeus.
Yeah. As always.
Ready to strike.
Chasey Watkins is just hoping for an exit frag, but no one really comes his way. Does chase the man towards Closet and gets dropped for it, but that's all right. It's a big buy from the Renegades, and they actually invest to the double op. Again, we've seen that a lot so far this week, most notably with SK, I think, having the best of CT setups with this. That should now leave Immortals with a response to it, because they're one of the teams, the only team, that managed to overwhelm it.
Relying heavily on this double op setup versus a long B hit. This should work pretty well for Immortals, you want to think.
Lucas wants to open. Sniper does find 1 frag, but both teams take 2. The bomb's been dropped in the process. Renegades all rotating over. Molotovs, though, that's going to burn them out. Awkward spots as they sit on the wall, but Steel's fully flashed. So Ustillo just taps and takes it. KNG posted towards the boulder, but he too blind. At a distance, the op reigns supreme. Nifty removed. Both CTs now in that corner, one of which is tagged, so they come flooding forward. KNG to the tech, and bolts with the next. That's Immortals to 5.
Want to say an op shot just lost a round. That was Nifty who was watching the cross. You heard him shoot, and I don't know what it looked like from him, but he whiffed that. And that was, you know, a walkout. He's got to land those. That's really unfortunate. And it's a 2v2 now. We've got the pistol on this side, the UMP on the other. Both get taken down. Ooh, that's tough. But I like how Immortals are deciding to go B because, again, it's another round where they've identified Renegades are deciding to buy, but they don't have a lot of money. This is a great round to rush long B. And even though it came close, they probably should have just been able to get in a lot more cleanly and abuse the fact that it's ops that they're really relying on.
Trading frags as bolts. Good job clearing up these counter-terrorists. Of course, you've already lost 1 round to full pistols, so no more excuses. Azza tries to move with the CZ after he does get spotted, but now it's just JKS with that SMG. And it's not meant to be. Steel finds it, and Immortals take 6, so all of a sudden we're tied back up. That hard reset in the 8th round versus Renegades put their money into question. We saw that double op buy being coupled with a couple of UMPs. And this time around, it's the double op with full rifles. Yeah, the double op full rifles. They have no kits. They have mollies, however. I wonder what Immortals are going to do. They're actually sending 2 people towards A, and I don't think they're going to do like a straight-up long B hit right away, which is probably a good idea. Great opportunity here to try to buy into their fear that they might be rushing long B. Going for fast drop control, actually. JKS, though, is stalwart in his defense and kills KNG on the rush. And it probably would have helped them split A if no one was watching it right off the bat, which I think they were hoping for. We have seen Immortals fight back from these man disadvantages. They are going to start to creep their way towards A. Nifty offers up his side, but just in time, aware of this, moves. Oh! But he gives up the angle, flicks back, and does take a shot as he's dropped to 24. Smoke to cover that cross, but Bolts is fully blind. JKS removed in response, but still this 4v2. Nifty through the side of the wall is killed back by Lucas, but 1 versus 3, no bomb. This is a very tough spot for him to play from. Jay-Z is alone, but his AWP comes out on top, and Renegades will get their lead back.
His crosshair placement was a little bit worse there. And Jay-Z, even though he dropped out of heaven, was kind of stuck. Was able to get that kill. This is a very important frag. JKS able to get more than 1 kill as well. And because he stopped that playthrough window, it seemed like Immortals were trying to change it up and send the bomb up through A to go B. Instead, they really still wanted to abuse that area in between connector and or in between connector and window. And now, even though are actually deciding to rush B straight up once again.
They're just going to charge in. Great flashes. CTs don't expect this already. Steel is in a position to find the opening frag, but Lucas is dropped in response. So Steel's still wrapping round as Bolts clears the bomb site. JKS hoping for Nifty to get into position, but he's coming into platform. Utility costs him as KNG pushes in. Slim chances, especially as Hen peeks back.
That's great. I mean, it's a strat everyone can do, right? They decided to run out. This was a defensive smoke from the CTs. Steel wins a very important duel right there and gets 2 kills. Just a bit of his head showing as well. And the entry being so important, going the way of Immortals, showing that they can still rush B. And I don't think we saw the appropriate counter nades from Renegades, but even with that, I think there was an opportunity there for Renegades to bail themselves out. But what we could say now is potentially that Renegades are just weaker to rushes.
Another immediate reset versus Renegades. Ever since their 5-round spree, that's what has happened every time. Of course, they're very weakened in this one. 3 pistols. Bare bones utility. And Jay-Z's going to get caught in the open. Nice read by Bolts. Renegade's going to try to go back to that boost, which has worked out before, but Azza gets ripped off the top side. And Nifty's now all alone. That other UMP in the hands of Ustillo towards Platt, but by the time he gets a shot, his teammates are all dead. Sprays for Bolts. Up close, Henny finds him. 8-7 the half.
B abuse over and over again in this highlight reel for Immortals. Even though they only got 8 rounds, they really picked it up towards the end.
Definitely able to get back that 1-point lead. We shall continue after a short break in between halves, so don't go too far, ladies and gentlemen. This is the ESL Pro League.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
Thanks for staying tuned, folks. We are back with what will be the second half between Renegades and Immortals. The score, Launders, tells us that it was a close one, 8-7 to the Brazilians' favor. But you have to remember that 5 of those 7 rounds for Renegades are the opening 5. After that moment, they get reset hard twice, and Immortals just run away with things.
It's like Immortals adapted really well, and maybe Renegades should be happy to have the rounds that they have, because near the end of that half, it looked like they could do anything they wanted to. which was basically rush long B and get away with it over and over again. So I think that there was maybe a lot more to say for Immortals half if they had been a little bit more warm coming into the game, maybe a little bit more prepared for Renegades. Initially, it looked like Renegades were looking hot, but Immortals were just a little bit hotter.
I mean, Renegades
Freakazoid levels of hot.
Yeah. On their initial CT setups, I mean, we saw that boost very early on from Azza inside of drop down, and that was one of only 2 rounds that Renegades actually get that aggressive there. The second time being at the very, very end of the game, where it's immediately removed. So those confident plays kind of went missing as Immortals started to tie things up, and then in the last-ditch effort, they attempted a second time, only to be denied. Immortals certainly have the number of Renegades, but the pistol could change things in a moment.
There's always that pistol asterisk. We're gonna have, oh, this cheese strat. They're basically waiting for CTs to push, and I don't know how JKS plays into this. I think either he gets the fight, wins it, they push through, or someone comes up long, gets the information, he gets killed. They continue to push through, and then the T's, after seeing him with a bomb, get that kill, run long A, or they use Ustillo first to try to hit B. But now that no one has made any noise, they're deciding to aggress. By the way that they're walking, it seems they are very intent on not faking right now.
Yeah, even starting to pull back that single B-site player. So everybody's grouping up. They've gotten the real estate to use their grenades, the double smoke, molly, double flash. It's going to block off both the door and the windowsill. So textbook execution, blocking off the rotation of the CTs and putting a lot of pressure on Lucas. Steel actually affords himself some space and gets into the site, but is immediately removed as Lucas trades it with another headshot onto Azza. JKS and Nifty, though, they've had enough, and they take back the man advantage, doubling down and leaving only Henny left. 1v3. T inside the cubby, but Henny's actually got some footing here. He starts to creep forward past this APC, needs to clear his back, and he doesn't. So JZ punishes it accordingly, takes the headshot for Renegades, and they open things up now 8 apiece, winning both pistols so far.
You saw a cool double-layered strategy there from long A, where they initially waited for a push, didn't find one, decided to continue on with the strat, and I just like the idea of holding first just because it's very common for teams to either peek out long A or push all the way through when they don't see anybody. Beyond that, it comes down to simply hitting nice shots. The smokes and flashes weren't too complicated. It's not a lot to talk about there, but something simple like Door in Heaven is all you need to isolate what is most likely 1 or 2 people on A.
Stillo boosted up early on. Very patient T-side can be afforded on Cobblestone, just the way the map tends to play out. More often than not, the CTs are content to just give away some place, try to hold things out on the execution, but they're not going to have any grenades barring Lucas's single smoke. Just looking for the pistols.
Again, always want to be careful not to get 1-deked in this situation. Can really change things up. Ustillo, very thankful probably that he was able to win that duel. Shooting with one hand, praying with the other.
Bolts is still inside the corner, though. Bit of a crossfire between him and Steel. But Steel's gone, and Ustillo takes the first head, so Azza denies poor Steel. He tries to respond back after losing platform by holding the drop down, but instead, well, Renegades just take both positions. The Immortals still having 2 players out. Lucas tries to cross back. He just wanted to run. Not too much to ask, is it?
Let the man run. Absolute savages. Everybody had spent all their money, head armor across the board. Renegades didn't lose a single man. Actually had 3 AKs to worry about, so anything more than 2 people dying would have been really a solid loss. Definitely hemorrhaging funds at that point, so it's good that they were able to win this round super cleanly, and they know that moving into the next round they want to have SMGs anyway, so having to go 5 AKs because you know that you're not going to lose any guns and that you're going to have to face up against guns on the on your opponents in the next round means that it's just all really good that right here on the harder one, you don't lose anybody. Solid foundation of income. One interesting thing I think we see teams doing is buying light on nades for the person who goes in first, and sometimes having that person only have like an SMG, either being an MAC-10 or a UMP. And I think with Renegades, they're definitely playing their anti-egos a lot slower, so they're not putting themselves in this mindset, and they're just kind of like clear things out, work together, work a pick, watch for mistakes, and then move into a site.
Should be no struggle for Renegades as they clear out these corners. Azza tries to aggress onto A, but he gets mowed down to the USP of Lucas. JZ just stays to the top side, not looking to follow suit. So Renegades expending one of their lives, starting to inch their way back towards B.
Yeah, you really kind of blew it there. Probably pretty stoked to be the one to have to go down, drop the UMP, collect 500 ADR, bring a win home for his team. Instead, goes 1 for 1 to a USP, and now puts his team in danger of losing.
They still will clear their corners using these Molotovs. Henny with another headshot off the USP. That's more damage dealt. Justillo, a weakened factor, actually dies by bolts, but Nifty is at least able to clear it. So the 2 remaining Immortals have to coming from connector, UMP included. How do they get out from drop down? No smoke, no flash. Now only KNG. 12 points of HP. He's stuck inside the corner. 3 shots to the mag, and he makes it work. But JKS cuts him off then and there.
3 kills, not too bad. I would be scared knowing that they just hit all those headshots with USPs. Like, wow, their aim is definitely good right now. So moving into the first rifle round, Renegades on full alert. AK's up for everybody. Henny, the only man opping, is actually doing it without armor. That's how badly he wants it. Nobody has a kit once again. We're seeing this a lot. Situations where CTs have no kits on full buy rounds. They do cost $400. They don't come cheap, those kits.
Nope. Pretty penny. Still open. He's able to find that opening shot, so the op is dropped. It's 9 rifles remaining. Smoke grenade to the bomb site, as the bomb itself is still towards Plat. He's got Azza to help him out here, ensure his safety. Ooh. And despite being blind, he takes the headshot onto Steel. Immortals, I'm sure, are tempted to just save. I mean, 5 versus 3, bomb's already planted. Only KNG will linger, but he's actually going to get boxed in because Azza gets aggressive. Gets punished for it.
KNG's done that dance before. Someone gets aggressive because they have 5 alive. And Immortals now know they are being chased. You still nope, can't get that one tap off. Lucas lives a cannons. 3 people left on A, however. JKS on a big flank might not ever get cleared. Lucas is starting to creep around. Oh, will he get spotted? That AK might have been swinging in his face. Yeah, looks like it was.
Lucas sees it, but nifty taps for Lucas. Nice shot. Still 2 CTs to find, one of which is lit. The time expires, and as does his opportunity. 3-point lead to the Aussies for now, as we'll find Immortals into the bye.
Yeah, solid B hit. Great initial pick, and I think that Henny in that situation with his op got blinded and decided to go for one of those delayed shots where you're completely blind, you have the angle lined up, you know someone's going to peek, but he took too long and died. I mean, it's maybe he should have fallen off. I mean, from our perspective, it's like that flash went over, they were out B, we knew they were going out B, but for Henny it was probably like, oh, they're not going to be this close to the choke point. And because there was no one there to support him, only man at Rock getting killed right away as well. That site got excavated quick.
More kits, less nades for Immortals, and still limited in both aspects. Renegades content with hanging on to the AKs.
This was the kind of round that Immortals like to rush B versus, and then it got to the point where they just felt like, we got this, let's just rush B over and over again. But yeah, a time where they would be weak. A's got a little bit of, on both upper and lower, has these up-close fights. And we see that working Nifty and JKS, I think, working in tandem to clear things together. All the space has been giving to them. The A hit is coming out. It's real. KNG is going to be close up and deal with long, and Luke is going to deal with lower A.
They try to play off each other. Nifty is the forefront. He's also the casualty. JKS connects on both, though. And now it's Steel caught on the cross. So, Renegades, again, successfully taking a bomb site. We've seen them come into these plants with general man advantage. Sometimes they lose a player towards the end of the round as they attempt to hunt. But in regards of taking sites, it's success after success.
Yeah, it has been. It's tough because Immortals that late in the round couldn't play up at long A. They had no extra smokes to use, and we're really relying on frags playing high impact positions. But that all hinges on them getting one kill and then the other one getting two, or one staying alive. And they couldn't do either thing. They could only kill one person, JKS, finish them off after that, and then the rotate was a little bit too late. If Steel had the opportunity to get in the site, if he had like 5 more seconds, he could have got to back site, and then maybe another teammate could actually rotate in. But all that is just a matter of how long can you delay for it, and they weren't able to put up their end of the bargain.
I can't help but feel like that's one of the dangers of just playing a very passive A setup. If you're not sure the T's are already poised to execute, then those rotations can get off guard.
Yeah, so if you play really passively, that's why ops are great, because you can like watch all the way into lower A from the top of site, and you can play it by yourself as well. And you know, you can't get line of sight for long A from heaven. There's like a little crack peak where you just need to spot the side of somebody, and then you can tell your teammates to rotate in. And funnily enough, they were closer up, but they had less information than that for their angles.
Very true, as they were just tucked inside those corners, hoping to swing out one after another and successfully trade, but that was not the case. Had even one player been able to hold off a little longer, Steel included with his first rotation, then things could have been different, but that's not the way it unfolded.
So you can play slow, and we don't know if this is a problem yet, but Immortals are holding onto their utility. They're starting to use it, actually, even though Renegades haven't used any, which is a good thing. Free smoking long B as well, so I think this is just off of a feeling. And Renegades don't seem to do much off of information. Instead, kind of pick something ready to spawn, make sure they get the safe area of map control, and then hit it together in whatever situation it is, 5v5, 4v4. Don't strike me as a team to be too like adjustment heavy. Instead, like to go kind of by the book here. Has been working out pretty well though.
Yeah, they'll try to stick to their game plan and execute into B. It's been used still to clean up hedges, and he does it yet again. Azza finding another, but here comes Steel to the boulder, taking 2, dropping the bomb, and a third goes his way. But JKS and Azza immediately respond until Lucas finds his way through the smoke and sprays for Azza. It's all done. It's all cleared. Immortals to the board on the CT side. That's back-to-back halves where Renegades win 5, only to lose the 6th.
Yeah, because of Steel right here with these 3 kills. Really nice stuff, good shooting, and he kind of had like a clear angle on all those guys. No one would double peek him, and each person either had a nade out or just wasn't in position to trade. So, you know, he was even able to let his recoil reset, switch from a target that was on his left to one in front of him. And it all fell apart for Renegades. They did a good job entering the site, but not crossing it. They thought their job was done. But Steel was still alive.
Another round where Usilla finds the entry frag. Very nicely done to remove the man on drop down. I mean, if only they realized how open it was for the taking. Immortals getting a little more aggressive in these last couple of rounds towards A, positioning a man on Matrix, and then shuffling Lucas towards connector door.
See, I think with Renegades, you need to put them out of your comfort zone, so I like that Immortals are going for like the aggressive long B control, because it seems like if they're allowed to get to the position where it's a lot of free control, but if they're even allowed to get that free control and you don't go put in that extra effort to deny them that or make them take a fight before that happens, then their executes are going to work out really well, because they have them pretty ironed out, it seems. KNG is in a very precarious position. It's a decent multi-kill spot, but it's really nice to have someone just at the top of long A to help escort him out. Right now, he doesn't feel like he could escape that easily. Nice 2K, however.
Very crucial as Bolts holds off on drop. So CT's to the man advantage, but Renegades want this A site. Lucas is able to cross and connects the head of Nifty as JZ's now all that's left. 1v3, able to find some more space, wants the plant, but 10 seconds left doesn't leave him with much time. So the cover of the corner is what he needs, and Steel's here to the AK. He sprays, but it's Immortals with double digits.
Yeah, very good attempt. Does come down to the fact that KNG in no man's land is able to get 2 frags. And again, that spot is a nice spot to play. You have, although you have to deal with long and lower A, you have this window, which is a good advantage. You can shoot feet before they can see you. That's how we got the initial damage off. And then just winning the 1v1 straight up after getting traded out, very natural thing. But if you had a teammate to escort him back through long, or a teammate to even trade frag him, that could have been even better. So only reason it ended up in a 2v1 the last seconds of the round, but that situation could have been avoided.
Flashbangs and a fast pace to this one. Renegades go charging in with just these pistols in hand. Bolts spraying and finding one frag as Henny gives some cover. This attempted push is shut down. But at least they tried to throw something different the way of Immortals.
Yeah, they used their eco round as the one round that they've moved quickly, which is kind of interesting. And I guess it can be good, but Immortals should have understood that they would be low on money through perfect counter nades. That one grenade landed right at the feet of 4 of them, I think, and did a ton of damage. And it also slows you down, so that's a big deal. Sometimes grenades are actually better than Molotovs for that reason, because especially at a choke point that is expected to have 3 or 4 people come out, if you can stun and slow all those people at the same time as you do damage to them, you feel like you have no power when you can't run fast, you know? Oh,
nice angle, exploiting the top of the smoke and finding JZ for free. Of course, we've seen Renegades apply this drop-down pressure, and Immortals just give it up. Will Renegades actually force their way in? Yes. Azza hits the floor. Steel.
Oh, you saw that.
On the cusp of the windowsill, sprays and takes it. Straight through the brains of Azza. And this forces Renegades into a 3 versus 5. Very tough spot to play off of.
Flash from the truck. Nifty's going to know about that, but has to worry about an op, so can't safely dry peek it, even though there isn't actually one waiting for him. I was going to abuse the smoke to get in the stable. Interesting. Actually, CT's to throw it, and oh wow, just barely gets flashed after spotting KNG.
Perfect.
Good hold. Everyone stays alive. Opening kill, especially important. Definitely puts Renegades off kilter. And I thought it was interesting that Nifty abused that long A smoke initially to get through stables.
It really looked like that was going to be the play that kind of took back the A site, or at least gave them a chance, but that little half flash was enough to put him off kilter. And all of a sudden, the entirety of Renegades are on wobbly legs. It's 12-12, and this buy is weak.
Not doing anything too quick right now. Oh, actually, maybe do you want to lead out? Bomb is stationed up here. That first kill doesn't come out. Molly in response. Damage dealt from Bolts, and he sees them falling back. Yeah, definitely have a rotate in this situation. KNG roaming around A zone patrol.
We haven't seen too much hyper aggression on long A, not in these gun rounds anyways from Immortals. But KNG is in a prime spot to do exactly that. Azza trades out Lucas. Good deagle at a distance. Steel's here to take his place. Spray does connect, and he will find the frag eventually. KNG doubling back here as Immortals just easily clean up shop and put themselves back into the lead.
Can't get anything done on their pistol rounds. Renegades are now with they still have a lot of money to buy. And they have options here. I don't know if they're going to decide to opt. Henny has had good impact on CT side so far. pre-witness this easy cleanup from Steel. Immortals have picked up a second one. KNG now opping as well. The second op going into lower A. And ooh, using the other one for a boost.
Ambitious. Stillo comes barreling forward, finds the backside, nearly finds Lucas, but Lucas gets his gun out. KNG's forced to rotate back, and now he's going to get pinched, so Renegades collapsing onto the A site as Nifty holds connector. Steel's taking his head, though, and it swings it to the 2v3. So Immortals are still in this, but there's a timer on the retake. They still have utility to play with. Flashbangs for Renegades could obscure that attempt. Both players with kits. Oh, that's not going to help. Immediately changes their direction. Smoke to give a little bit of cover. And that allows Bolts out. Frag grenade softens up Azza, but Bolts now has to find the clutch. Sprays for the first, and he knows the man's on site, so he takes him next. The third's towards Long. He gives up his back, though. He's going to get on that bomb, and he goes down. Renegades finally back on the board.
Damn, that was very tight. That was very tight. We're coming into these later rounds of the half, or the later rounds of the game, excuse me. Money is not becoming quite as important anymore. Immortals doing a lot of good damage, but not sealing it up. And honestly, there were just a lot of missed shots this round. KNG whiffed a pretty easy off shot on one player coming at a drop. That would have made up for the fact that Ustillo found an excellent opportunity to capitalize on Henny. When they gave up that drop boost, they knew that because they saw an off, there's no way they were going to try to set up again or keep the off there. And oh, Ustillo actually just running out Long B through the fire.
Gets caught on the corner.
Ooh, no Olaf smoke, nothing. Just decided to run out. I don't think, anyway.
Like a shrimp on the Barbie.
Wait, mate.
5v4 for Immortals. Lots of players still towards that B site. KNG might not realize they're this close, but he still finds JKS. Nice shot. And Nifty's looking to linger in. There's a flank per team here. Lucas all the way on long A.
Is Nifty in drop?
Yeah. Oh. Nice peek back. Because he's there, he's able to find Henny. And this brings it to an equalized 3v3. But Steel's patient, finds his spine and taps it. Bomb still planted, but Renegade's in a really tough spot, seeing as two players are going to come in from connector, and Lucas is still on long.
They don't have a lot of options here. They've got to kind of sit and wait for fights right now.
Those fights are inbound as the CTs start to push in. Flash goes high. Azza just wants a fight. JZ spots the head, but he actually takes it, and it's answered. Immortals resetting Renegades yet again. It's happened every single time deep in these halves. Immortals now one short of securing OT.
Yeah, this might be it, really. The 14th round, Renegades are going to be super broke. They haven't had great eco rounds or never had success versus Immortals so far that we can look back on and say they could try that again. And are going to be broke for 2 more rounds, so might hear, yeah, safer OT instead of deciding to force, since they do have some left over, and then they can AK buy next round at least on a few people, maybe have nades on the rest. Probably the best strategy for sure.
Now remember, the only rounds they've really gotten super quick was the rounds when they have these pistols, so Immortals might read into this. Try to get aggressive on B, spotting no one. The players at A site, Lucas and KNG, are patiently posted up, using the op at a distance and then swapping it over on long. Renegades, having cleared out that side of the map, have decided to change direction.
Singular flashbang.
Where would you put that?
I would put it long B. But I'm a crazy man. Pop drop. Drop top.
I like it.
Trip drop.
Goes tapping in. Bolts is fully blind. Steal on the windowsill. Traded out quite quickly. But Bolts then dies next in line. And he gets that M4 for JKS. Bomb, however, gifted to Lucas.
Ooh. Is that volley gonna be good?
Nice angle. Burns out the window. Prevents any exit. Leaves JKS to clutch. 2 ops left in play. Fire at his feet. And that puts him into the open for Henny.
Damn, it looked promising. The drop made a lot of sense there. And they got 2 kills. It was close. Good use of counter nades from Immortals. 15 rounds to their name. Quite close to simply closing this out, but another full buy attempt from the Renegades. The biggest demon for them is that Immortals have had such a clean half so far. Really good CT side.
Seeing as these fast plays from Renegades always seem to shine through on their pistols, would you want to play this one fast off the guns?
I think that I don't know. I think one of their best strategies in this half has been to try to clear out A. Like, I actually think their pistol from this half or something similar to it would work out pretty well. Immortals play KNG alone late round, and he's just kind of roaming around. I mean, one of the rounds they lost was because KNG got 2 kills in a position that he should have gone 1 for 1, 100%. So I think maybe try to bully him again, because if they walk up, they don't telegraph it, KNG's alone, it might take too much time for a rotate to come in to stop Renegades from being able to execute. Or they could potentially just kill him and then full execute 5v4. Depends how it goes. Tactical pause, very important one. Very, very important.
Yeah, huge. Of course, with the changes to the point system this season, an overtime will net you 1, so they'd love to be able to just scratch this one through. It's crazy to think that in each half they win those opening 5 rounds and then afterwards just completely lose out. Only winning 2 in the first half, thus far 1 to their T side.
That's true. That says a lot about Immortals. I mean, that to me says Immortals are way better. Just because that's only 1 rifle round in those 5.
I mean, you talked about how Renegades just seem to play into their setup and that they're not necessarily using adaptability. Whereas Immortals lose 5 opening rounds, come up with a response, and then never have to do anything different.
Yeah. See, I actually think that they, you know, like they're going A right now, but I actually think they lead A, and then they just come back later. But I'm not sure they're, I wouldn't expect them to be aware of the fact that KNG likes to lurk out here by himself.
Completely new setup from Immortals on that A site, putting KNG all the way to the back of the bomb, and leaving Lucas in the cubby.
Yeah, he's also got that op. I like them playing back on the site. It was a big problem for them when Renegades, when JKS came out long, killed both of them because they were both close up. That was a little bit risky.
Steals close up.
Oh, SK would kill him right now. Oh, they're gonna do it.
No way.
They're doing it.
Does it work out yet again? Yes, it does. Azza able to find Steal. Nice play here to take that 5v4. Devil's in the details, but KNG is in the bomb site. And he's looking to block things off on Balk. Molotov will take the other player into the open. KNG's fully flashed, and he almost hits the collateral, but Renegades are better off as they plant 4v2. And Immortals being still boxed to the B site, they're gonna just save this one out. Renegades have done it. Nice split, nice setup, nice play.
Yeah, nice play. Didn't expect them to use that boost, expected them to walk right into Steel's crosshairs. Steel gets the kill, round over. Aussie tears, but instead they bring it to round 30. And this is really cool because Immortals are actually not even gonna have that much money. They're gonna have no money.
They're gonna have no money at all.
Yeah, they're gonna have these 2 guns, and those guys have armor. So we're talking, we can have another M4 drop here, 2 M4 drops, okay? And then UMP, no nades on those riflers. So we have 2 nade sets, 1 UMP, 3 rifles, I think.
Looks like it.
Oh, they actually got, they managed an op, yeah, okay. Even better. Oh, they might have saved that. I don't think they had enough money for that. Okay.
Eagle on Lucas. That's the shortcoming of this Immortals buy. Remember, Renegades have yet to convert a rifle round outside of those openings. So if history repeats itself, Brazilians will squeak this through, but a very close game no matter what. And JKS starts to clear out lower.
Same setup as last time from Renegades, but not the same thing from Immortals. They're actually playing up close here. KNG capitalizes.
He sees that opportunity. JKS makes a ruckus, and he pays with his life.
Oh.
But Ustillo.
That was tight timing.
Question mark here. Already able to get himself into the drop down. Molotov burns out the corner, so no one can be in that room. But they are certainly still outside it. Position from Bolts is boosted up, and seeing as Henny's on platform, then drop down doesn't counter him. He can give it his full attention. Lots of grenades utilized by Immortals so far. Renegades hang on to theirs.
Immortals know what's up right now. After they cleared out A, have rotated everybody into the site.
Yeah, the only man not here is the player on the Deagle. So not
right
that bad. KNG gets aggressive, finds Azza, spots Ustillo as well. So now Renegades are going to pull the trigger. They're going to push in. Bolts is spotted and killed to the top side. Ustillo with another. Steel goes to Spring, but this leaves it all on Lucas. There's free guns in drop down, but instead he goes through door. He just wants to get into this fight. Both T's on site. And they start to cross back as he gets his hands to the AK. 9 shots in mag. Smoke to work with, but also the element of surprise. He needs to now tap. 5 shots left, and down he goes. The Renegades have done it.
OT.
Let's do it.
First OT of the season?
As far as the mainstream goes.
Oh yeah.
And they break the trend. I think that's the coolest thing here from Renegades. They finally get consecutive rounds outside of those opening sprees.
4v5 running into 4 players at B.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Ustillo, great entries. They didn't deal with him in drop. Wait, that's a huge mistake. There was no one watching drop.
Nope.
Not at all. They had one on tree. They had one in that position that Cold Zero was playing by the wall.
Yep.
Maybe he expected him to watch it. And then one at Chicken Coop, which I guess he did try to.
I can't help but feel like Bolts was so committed to watching that drop-down room until the player on platform smoked it off. That's when he changes his attention towards platform, maybe expecting a bigger push than what came his way.
He still killed KNG in drop, so they knew he was there.
Yeah. Your guess is as good as mine.
Done goofed.
What I do know is that everybody in server seems to be hitting shots, barring JZ Walkings. Bit of a struggle so far, but at least they get OT, so he's still got a chance to catch up.
Really impressed with Ustillo.
Yeah? Why is that?
The entries.
Yeah.
Entries have been game changers. Like that play he made down drop when he went towards A, catching Henny in a situation where he knew he wasn't going to stay in drop, but that round that we just witnessed, that allowed them to get here in the first place. Playmaker throwing haymakers. What is this little boy holding?
A fish. A very large fish.
Looks like a fish stick.
Did you not wrestle with fish during your childhood?
You sure that's whoa, it is, yeah. It's like a 50-pound
bass.
Bass, yes. Great bass.
Are you still confident in Immortals? Because I know that, again, they have just seemed to convincingly take back those initial advantages and leads from Renegades.
They had way better halves.
Yeah.
Way better halves, yeah. 5-0 starts and you still lose. It's great for Renegades that they didn't lose their anti-ecos and were able to win the first rifle and whatever, but that's only one rifle in those first five rounds, and Immortals still managed to get most of the rounds in the half. Like, by far and away, they had way better halves.
We talk about, obviously, the initial kind of consistency for Renegades, doing the same thing over and over, rolling into their setups and not changing on the fly. Those last few rounds, they do very different plays onto their T-half. So that's what kind of impressed me, was that they pulled out something new for that final half. They execute into the B site towards the end of it. And yet, now that we're in overtime, there's less room for adaptability. There's less room to change things up because you only have those 3 rounds per half.
Yeah. It's tough. You get to OT, you really, as an IGL, are, you know, bleeding your heart out to get everything, to come up with everything you possibly can by the 30th round. You don't really leave anything for OT because you don't expect to have to play that ever. So at this point, you know, as the game goes on, it gets a little bit more, it goes a little bit less by the book, a little bit more off tendencies, what we just saw, what we know works right now. And there's a lot of learning that happens in OTs. Really good for practice to play this many rounds and then play OTs afterwards. That's why when a lot of teams scrim, they just scrim to, they'll just scrim for way longer than regulation, as opposed to play the map out, go to the next map.
Throw everything out there first and foremost, and then once the trends and tendencies have been set, continue to play off of it.
Yeah.
Smart. Of course, the rules this season, MR3 16K.
Oh.
Money, not an issue. Or it is an issue, depending on how you like your overtimes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like this as much just because you don't have to worry about how much money you have. And, like, the economy doesn't really become a factor as much. It also messes with the balance a bit just because maps that are more CT-sided become even more CT-sided because everything's more expensive on CT side. And you can also do things like get 5 auto snipers, which you won't really see, but the fact that that's an option, I'm not a huge fan of.
Angie gets aggressive. Nice setup, but Ustillo clears it out. Not finding an entry, but a trade frag instead. And immediately Immortals are set back to the 4v4. Ustillo wants some more, and he gets it. Frag grenade drops him to 19 health, and he immediately retreats. He's had enough. Nifty flashing himself for APC. JKS has to be careful because Henny's to the top side and he's tagged. Has a quarter health as Lucas finds JZ Walkings. JKS is capable of the trade, but Nifty's capable of getting towards site, where the other Opper finds a frag.
Oh! Ah, it was just spotted.
Steel and bolts now. And only Ustillo, he's on site, he's found. The CTs will take it. Immortals finally winning an opening round in any kind of half.
I do like it from Renegades, a little bit looser, just go work it kind of quickly, make your way up into the site, tried to catch a player off guard, ended up doing so, and then unfortunately got thinned down too much. Henny being able to stay alive was a big deal, not getting off by Nifty. Actually winning that duel was a huge reason they just won straight up. And now, yeah, another round like we just witnessed. Except it's going to be a B setup from Renegades. Nifty hoping that someone peeks him. Ooh, he actually does find someone to peek him. Is it an Opper? It what? Wow, KNG getting so aggressive.
Too aggressive.
Too aggressive. That's what I meant.
No flashbang to help him out there either, so he just wanted that dry peek. He takes it in response. Ustillo up close though, bolts on the other side of the boxes, could spot the feed, but Ustillo bests him. So Renegades now with a 2-man advantage and their entire team poised to strike the B site. Lucas up close on the lane, he sprays and does take one down, but that's only damage on Ustillo. He is still standing. 2 players for Immortals left over. Steel is on site, Henny to the backside, needs to support him here. He's got a lot of ears in this position. Stops the bomb, but he's traded back as Henny finds another. Nifty with a crucial kill will put Renegades back on the board. That's a 1-1 split so far.
Good attempts from Immortals on the hold, but KNG really did mess that up, I think, a little bit after Nifty misses that opening shot, falls back. KNG, I think, knows that he falls back, but then instead of just playing that advantage and even using a flash, as you mentioned, to try to peek him, they just decided to try peek him. It was a bit too aggressive. It was too valuable a player to lose that early on. Once again, Nifty going for the same peek. Why not? It was Immortals to make the mistake last time of peeking him once and then peeking him twice. Oh.
Same angle. This time he doesn't miss.
Fooled me 3 times. Shame, shame, shame.
Nothing but shame around here.
Chanted in your face. Shame. Shame.
Henny, he wants to get aggressive. He does find JKS. 1 off per extremity per team. And a 4v4 for both. Nifty still hanging on to this angle, but nobody else wants to get that aggressive. Immortals actually playing very far back. No one towards Coop or Sight. Steel burns alive, and Jay-Z Walkings takes Lucas despite having 20 health. So we're back to a 4v2 with KNG and Coop. His attention pulled towards drop down, where he hits that shot. Smoke grenade to block things off, and Henny's on the flank. Ustillo's up close. No scope goes wide, but the bomb's yet to be retrieved here. Renegades with a chance.
Oh wow! I thought he might be able to see it.
No, but he does still have his op.
Now Kid, and again because the way that OT runs, he's got lots of money.
He's going to come back into this. Flashbang through the crack of the door.
Oh!
No scope or close to it. Onto Ustillo, goes barreling into the bomb site, tries to get aggressive, and hits that through the wall. He's still in play, but he's out of bullets, so the CZ's what he's going to need to do this. Starts to wrap around Highway, making a lot of noise, pulling Nifty back,
Yeah.
who wins that duel, taking Renegades to the lead.
Damn. Yeet.
This was that flick. Why not?
And the CZ bait as well, pulling Nifty out of the right side of Chicken Coop. Smart stuff. Got what he wanted, but couldn't get the kill. That is the end of the first half of the third half.
The third half of 4. Or maybe more.
Potentially, yeah.
Oh man, Renegades with a lead. This is the first time that they've finished with a point advantage.
That's true. 2 away from a W.
It'd be a great win for them as well. Versus a team like Immortals, who split maps versus SK last night.
Right. That's like splitting maps versus SK.
It is.
Beating a team that splits maps versus SK.
So they're practically #1 now.
That's what I tell my mom.
Yeah. How is she, by the way? She just visited the city, didn't she?
Yes. Went on a hike. Took a tour of Paramount Studios.
Okay.
Griffith Observatory. Omakase,
What's that?
where the master chef
Oh, right, sushi.
serves you sushi, and he actually knew about Counter-Strike.
Speaking of fish.
That's what the fish look like on my plate.
Well, hope for you were more clothed
It
than
was
the
just
statue.
when I was completely naked.
That's the experience you pay for. That's why it's so expensive.
You know, I thought it was kind of weird when they asked me to take my clothes off,
But then you just went with the flow.
but I'm like, I've never been to Japan.
As long as they keep the octopus put away.
Who am I to tell them no?
Little pause here in between. Time to talk some tactics. What do you do if you're Immortals to the T side? It's been a while since they were there.
I think they do exactly what they did in their T half in regulation, because they were rushing B, it was working. They were rushing B even when it wasn't strategically ideal, and it was working, and them running off that confidence, it was pretty much all they needed. I think they just played the game right now that they might not do it. And I think like you can rush B late in the round. It just means that you're not throwing too many nades over to be telegraphed, or you're not setting up for smokes and stuff like that. But typically when teams do it late in the round, which is kind of interesting, they almost always are going to set up. So when we talked about long B, there's that wall on the left side that people always sit in. And after long B is smoked in the beginning of the rounds, if you still is over here on this side, then this is an angle that they have to clear left and right from. So a lot of teams that will execute will wait for the smoke to go down and then just try to get rid of that guy, and then throw the smokes over, run through a smoke. Oh wow. Oh, he's taking a lot of
Oh, though, JKS takes 2. Great hold, but Lucas is there to answer it back. Nifty's op connects with 1, and Henny, oh, he wants it, but he loses his head. Lucas is all that's left in a 1v3. Bomb on his back. flashbang on his belt, and a bomb site for the taking. Clears out the backside.
He
so
can plant. That's cool.
He'll take it.
Are they trying to go drop? Or are they just kissing each other? Okay. Just waiting for a huge play from Lucas, which makes sense.
Yeah, 1v3. He's going to look to take some kind of an initiative, win some sort of duel.
They're like not going to mess this up. Like they just, well, no. The only thing that goes wrong at this point is time, but.
He's going to spray for the first one, hits the head, and almost finds Ustillo, but he'll best him. So we have it. Renegades already sitting on map point. Immortals looking to force that double OT.
This is kind of rough. This is rough, actually, because Kanji dies before Henny dies, right? Yeah. Oh, damn! Damn. That was nuts. So it seemed like Henny actually saw the scope, lined up a shot, and it looked like a good wallbang.
Yeah.
He missed, though. Unfortunate. What can you do? The second one definitely had a good opportunity to get that kill. Still knew exactly where he would peek from. That nifty, obviously, a nasty flick.
Yeah. Fast round here, this time from Immortals. Ustillo's amongst the terrorists. He's amongst the flames, but Renegades still take two. The bomb dropped in the open, and Immortals forced to commit here. Bolts burns one alive, but Ustillo yet again, as he taps off the USP, he'll clean up shop. It's Renegades forcing it into overtime and finding their win. Again, 5 rounds at the beginning of each half. Barely looked like they hung on there towards the end of things, just able to squeak by in the 30th round, and once overtime started, once the pressure was applied, the Aussies come out on top.
There's not much more to say, to be honest. It really looked like that was Immortals' games to lose, and over time, it looked like Renegades were in control the whole time, so good stuff.
Beautiful stuff. And in order to talk about this stuff, we're going to throw it over to the analyst desk, where the experts reside.
Thank you, gentlemen. What a way to start the evening of matches. Not too shabby. Overtime game between these two teams, and it had everything. It was the classic Renegades. It seemed like they were in control of the match, and then all of a sudden it slips away. Immortals started looking like they get in there, and then just a comeback. I mean, the overtime as well. All good stuff.
Yeah, I was having dysphoric recall from like past seasons of Renegades, just like, oh, no, not like this. Like, you played so well for the first 22 rounds, and now you are doing this again.
I mean, we talked about that with Renegades, was like what seems to be the problem. Because they seem to have all the pieces needed to be a great team and to win these matches, and they always seem to let it slip away. And we saw a little bit of that here again in this matchup.
Yeah, luckily they did not slip on the banana peel, and they avoided it. But the thing is, at the start of the match, they were so aggressive everywhere, and it's like it's almost a repeat from against SK and Immortals, where they showed no fear at all against Immortals.
Well, this is a perfect example. We can pull up a replay that you wanted to talk about, the aggression from Renegades in round 6.
So after 5 rounds, literally Renegades have been peeking and pushing, and I think personally, this smoke play is a little too much, because since they're playing so, fast and pushy at the start of the game, I think Immortals kind of caught on a little bit. You see right here, JKS does get a kill, but KNV does trade the kill, and this caused Immortals to win the first round. So maybe in the future, choose and pick your rounds after you establish an identity at the first 5-6 rounds of the game.
Yeah, it's like they're going aggressive all for the first 5 rounds, and they continue it. So it's almost like you're kind of like telegraphing your next play. Also with that Molotov, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, could have gone either way, but obviously even with that push, they get a little bit of information. Still, got him out to a good early lead, which they ended up needing in the end of things. And I know, James, you wanted to also talk about another play from Renegades. Ustillo, a guy that you kind of called into question. Some up and down performances over these last few months, but here he is again. Walk us through this.
Yeah, so watch Ustillo. He's the guy at the X-ray CT. So he starts walking right here, right? So if you're a sidewalk player, long B, and you have the first contact, you really need to choose what nades you're going to throw early on. And I'm going to go back to Launders here, because he was right on with what he was saying. The HE nades are super important at long B, right? So Ustillo starts walking, right? So he can kind of count in his head. He's like, oh, I hear X amount of T's coming fast, right? But since he only heard one and he kind of heard that they weren't committing, he decided to go with the smoke grenade, right? Be kind of a waste to throw the HE nade if they're not actually going to go through that.
Yeah, that'd be if they were going fast. You want
it's like kind of one of those like
to make them run through damage.
Yeah, it's like one of those seemingly small things that actually makes a big impact.
I mean, that's the kind of play that we expect out of these guys, veterans at this point. Immortals didn't quite look like the Immortals we saw yesterday. Was this Renegades play that kind of slowed them down? I mean, they did put them on their back feet in the early 5 rounds.
I felt like Immortals, their spacing was kind of a little off, where they would give up too many kills and without the exchange.
Okay.
When they could have maybe tightened up a little bit. Take Renegades maybe. I wouldn't say that they're not taking them seriously, but they were playing a little too loose, and they lost more rounds than they should have.
Well, here's one thing that helped out, Eric. You wanted to talk about this B explode that Renegades does in round 19.
So I really like this, and they found a lot of success at B. So when Renegades would take this, I like just a simple flash and instantly peek 2-3 people towards that statue, take it out hand one, and as you see, before they cross, playing a little methodical, smoking off, Molotov from the rock, and just getting into a good position. So nice nice nades by Renegades, and as they peeked together, they had patience, and it really put Immortals on the back foot every time they hit B.
Now, this aggression we see out of Renegades is something we think they can continue with. I mean, we saw it on the T side as well. You just didn't execute there, but I know, James, one round we'll have coming up pretty soon is a Renegades. They go very fast and very aggressive in mid from the T side instead of just the CT side.
Yeah, I also like it when it's nice and tight, when the spacing's nice and tight. So what actually helps Renegades win this round, I think the clip's a little late, so I kind of chose the time poorly. But what allowed them to win this round is going fast up mid, right? So it's kind of like, you know those times when you get a kill and people kind of like vacillate around and they're not really making any progress up the map. They're kind of like, oh, I'm going to jiggle this and kind of zigzag around up the slope.
Yeah.
Renegades did the exact opposite. That whole match on T side, Renegades chose perfect timing of when to just like, you know, put the sneakers on and run. They kept their guns out though, right?
Yeah.
Like they're ready for fights, but they're going straight. They're holding just W. They're not ADing while they're going straight. You know, they're taking the fastest path.
Now, are we expecting the next map is going to be Cache? Just to touch on that before we go to break. You said this is a map that, you know, could be pretty dangerous for Immortals against Renegades.
Yeah, I mean, not to take away from Immortals, because I know that Immortals have focused heavily on Cache in the past. I think like leading up to the minor and the major qualifiers, I recall Steele talking in an interview about, yeah, we've been focusing a lot on Cache. We feel comfortable on it. So I think this one's actually another hotly contested match. Hopefully it goes to overtime so I can spend, you know, maybe an extra hour with you guys today.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be phenomenal.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
We'll have to find when we come back, but if you guys want to get into the action, if you guys want to eventually one day play in the Pro League, then play on ESEA and join your way through the ranks. Get noticed in all the ESEA pugs, rank G, all the way up towards rank S, and have some fun with the pros. We'll see you there. We'll also see you right after the break with the second map.